Hello everyone. So this week I was planning to make a video talking about like a detailed overview of the SWE interview process. But actually a few days ago I received some good news, which is the fact that I got a Tesla Autopilot offer for next summer, summer 2023. So I guess in today's video, I think I'll be talking about like my summer applications process, which companies I applied to, how I'm doing in these applications so far, how I prep for these applications, and finally, in the very end, I'll talk about how I was able to get my Tesla internship. And don't worry, in the next video, I'll be making it about the interview process, so also look forward to that. So I thought I'd start off with talking about how I started preparing for the summer 2023 season applications. So for this season, I decided to create a new LeetCode account, basically to start from scratch. And my goal was, I started around the middle of May. And every day my goal was to do around like 5 different LeetCode questions. And as you can see, I was able to meet that goal up to a point where my internship started. And then around then, I got a little busy with work and other tasks, so I could only do like 1 or 2 problems a day. But then before application started, I had around 150 questions done, so that was a decent amount. And all the questions that I did were either from the LeetCode 150, the Grind 75, or sometimes the daily LeetCode problem. And for every problem I did, for example, if I click on like one of the recent ones, every problem I would write like a detailed explanation of like various solutions if there are any, talking about how to solve the problem. So for this one, I talk about like the recursive way, a hash set way, and finally the mod way. And by doing so, I think it's good since I can like clearly understand what's happening in my solution, as well as if I want to review like my old solutions, I can quickly pick up upon what I'd previously worked on without too much trouble. And that was basically most of the technical prep I did. Apart from LeetCode, I did do a few mock interviews with my friends over Discord, where we practiced behavioral questions and sometimes technical ones, just so I can get more used to the technical type of interview. And apart from that, that was basically it. I didn't do much other prep other than just LeetCode and a few mock interviews. So now I talk about how far I was in my summer 2023 applications processes. And for this season, I decided to create a spreadsheet to keep track of like which companies I got rejected from, and to take some notes for future possible seasons. And as you can see, my spreadsheet is pretty simple. I just have a company column, OA column, interview column, some notes, if I got the final or not, and finally if I got offer or not. So let's go through some of like my processes. So I applied to Jane Street. I didn't get the OA for that. I did get interviewed though for the quant trader position, but I turned it down since I already got my Tesla offer by then. For Optiver, I got a trading OA, but I didn't take it. For Kuna, this was pretty early on. I did get a bunch of OAs from them, but I only moved on for the quant developer role. And unfortunately, I couldn't get to the final round for that. For SIG, I got a recruiter phone, but this was after my Tesla offer, so I declined it. IMC, DRW, I didn't do the OAs since I already got my Tesla offer by then. And same goes for 2 Sigma and Citadel. So overall, for my quant firms, I did hear back quite a bit. I'm not sure if like the OAs were on me or not, or if I actually passed the resume screen, but it's pretty nice to know that at least I was able to get a few phone interviews for some of them. Moving on to Roblox, I applied to that one. I did OA, but so far I haven't heard back yet. For Palantir, actually, I think I got referred to that position, so I was able to skip the OA and move on to the phone interview, which was a Carrot interview. And for the Carrot interview, it's basically like an outsourced interview where the people interviewing you aren't from like the actual company. Um, and for that, I was able to take it twice since the first one I didn't do too well on, so I decided to redo it. And after redoing it, I did pretty well. I got moved to the on-site. And I talked to the recruiter regarding my Tesla offer, and the recruiter said that I could interview for the fall off-season position. So I'm continuing to interview with them. For Tesla, I'll talk about it at the end. Duolingo was basically the only company I actually got rejected from, and this was even with a referral, so that was pretty surprising. I heard that their hiring is sort of elitist and they want good schools, so that might have been a reason for my rejection. Moving down to some miscellaneous ones. If you guys are familiar with the Greylock Tech Fair, it's some sort of like recruiting event, basically, where some companies have like their rooms open where you can go in and ask engineers questions and stuff. And also they have like some special application links for the participants. So I was lucky enough to get into that, and I was able to collect a few priority application links. For JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Century, I also got the OA, but I didn't do it. And for Capital One, I did get the OA and moved on to the final round, but I canceled it at the end since I got my Tesla offer by then. And for Instabase, I also got their OA, which I completed, and I got to the HR phone screen, but then I stopped it since they weren't offering any full processes. And also for Robinhood had some hackathon, which I also did the OA for. I got accepted to that, so I might participate in that if I have time. And I guess other than that, there's not too much more to talk about. These were like mainly my target companies, since I was looking for something either on Amazon's level or better. And luckily enough, I was able to get a Tesla offer, and for the Autopilot team, which in my opinion is really good. All right, so let's finally talk about how I was able to get my Tesla offer for next summer. And I guess this goes back to when I was applying for internships for the summer 2022 season. And during that time, I also mentioned this in my previous video, but there's a site called Hacker News where you can post your information, your background, your resume, and hopefully some recruiters or employees from a company might reach out to you for positions that you might be interested in. And as you can see, 7 months ago, I did post like what roles I was looking for and my background. And luckily enough, an employee from Tesla Autopilot's team actually reached out to me asking if I was interested in a position for summer 2022. Of course, I immediately accepted that and got into the interview process where I first did one phone screen. I passed that successfully, but unfortunately for the second phone screen, I was able to solve the problem, but I guess they didn't think my experience was enough to continue moving on, and I was told that I could not continue interviewing for any summer 2022 roles. But they also did tell me to reach out to them again for the next season, which was summer 2023. So at the beginning of July, actually like the first day of July, I emailed my recruiter from the past season asking if I could start interviewing for any roles for summer 2023. And lucky enough, they said yes. So I got into the interview process, and the interview process is roughly first 2 phone screens, followed by an on-site where you have 3 other technical phone screens, 2 of the employees and 1 with the hiring manager. So in my first phone screen, I didn't do too well, but I did enough to pass to the second phone screen. For the second phone screen, I think I did really good, and they decided to move me on to the on-site, which was really good for me. And then for the on-site, I think in my opinion, I think I sort of nailed it. I was able to solve all the questions pretty optimally and in a quick amount of time. I was able to even chat with some of the employees talking about their work and what they liked about Tesla. So overall, my on-site was really good, and the day after, actually, I think I received like an offer from my recruiter, not the official one, but asking like how the interview went and talking about how I did a pretty good job and I could expect the offer later on. And the day after that, so basically 2 days after my on-site, I received my official offer letter. And since Tesla Autopilot is definitely like a company I really wanted to work for, I just signed it on the spot since I wasn't really interested in any other companies. And that was basically my Tesla interviewing process. Compared to like other interviews, other companies, there are a little bit more interviewing rounds, but that's because I believe Tesla Autopilot has a pretty strict process. And if you don't do like well on one of the interviews, you probably will not make it to further interviews. So overall, I think getting like a response from the initial person asking if I was interested was definitely really lucky on my end. And thanks to that, I was able to get an offer for next summer.